Okay, my name is James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu Addict number 2. Alright, so we're gonna piss off a lot of people right here, right now. So if you're under 18 or if you're not a Marvel fan, then you probably should leave. And if you are 18 and you are a Marvel fan, you should probably stay. And if you are that shade of gray, either way, as long as you're 18, you can stay. My language will probably get graphic. It will damn sure be insulting, and you will probably never want to watch me again. And that's cool. You have that right. Yeah, you really have that right. This is YouTube. You're not paying for this channel. I don't have a Patreon. I don't have a PayPal, any of that shit. You're here for fun. That's what I'm here for. Fun. And hopefully to give you a little bit of knowledge between the fun and on your way. That way, nothing bad can go wrong. You know, things can go one way or the other, and things can get done. However, I want to talk to you guys about Black Panther, but this video is going to be the bulk of the Black Marvel characters in general. Now, we're going to get to Black Panther. I'm going to save him on the black burner. Excuse me, the back burner. Like what I did there, the black burner. Okay, so I'm gonna drop this down for y'all because there's been so much shit said about Black Panther. And I've seen the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. And for the record, I'm talking about the Marvel superhero Black Panther, not the 1975 with Marcus Chung Black Panther. It wasn't made in 75, it was like 99 or something, where he was talking about the Black Panther Party. Alright, so getting that out the way. So Black Panther, T'Challa, back burner. Let's go with Marvel's superheroes that are black. Actually black. Not from Africa, not from any other nation, but black. I can probably name 10 of them, and I'm going to do my best without visuals saying so. So, you have Falcon. He's a black man with a bird. They have a little bit of telekinetic connections. I forgot what the Falcon's actual name was, but Falcon, the superhero, is a black man. Alright? Now, second on the list, Battlestar. It's either Battlestar or Battle Lion. I can't really remember what it is, but he's a black guy. He has a triangle shield, just like Captain America's original shield. And he became a member of Silver Sable's Wild Pack, but he is also a black man. I can't remember if him and Falcon are both from certain spots in New York. I think Falcon's from the Bronx, and I think Battlestar or Battle Lion's from Brooklyn or something. I don't know. But they're from New York, all right, as most Marvel superheroes are. So we have Luke Cage, a.k.a. Power Man, also black, teamed up with Danny Rand. Now, Danny Rand, I think he's white, but his last name's Asian, so I don't really know how that fucking works, so we're just going to let Danny Rand be on that side. So Luke Cage, who's technically in the comic, was at one time married to Jessica Jones, unless they've retconned all that shit, like in the TV series. I think they've retconned all that shit. But anyway, moving on to where it needs to be, you know, so I named Battlestar, Falcon, and I named Luke Cage, because those were three of the most popular black superheroes from the 70s, 80s, and well into the 90s, with Blade also being in there, the Daywalker or the Night Stalker, because Blade really was made more famous in the Night Stalker comics with Johnny Blaze and Morbius and Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat. Now, they probably should have got a spinoff in the 90s, but I'm pretty sure Fox wasn't thinking about that at the time of the Spider-Man cartoon, because they also left off Johnny Blaze, and the Night Stalkers was only Morbius, Black Cat, and Blade, and then the cop that went with them sometimes. I forgot her name. Anyway, but she was also black. But that was only for the cartoon purposes. In the comic books, it was Johnny Blaze, Morbius, and Blade. They rode the bikes. He tracked the vampires through their scent and blood, and Blade and the original Ghost Rider wiped their asses out. Anyway, moving on. The next superhero is Darkhawk. Darkhawk's name is Tyrone Powers. He's a young black kid. I forgot how he found the mantle and all that. I didn't really get into him, but he was a black superhero from Marvel. He found the mantle, this magical armor, whatever, so I'm pretty sure he's not a mutant, but somehow or other he has magical powers, etc., etc. He flies, he fights crime in whatever New York neighborhood that he lives in. Alright? So let's move on to him and leave his ass right where he's at. And we're going on to Cloak. Cloak was another very famous black character from Marvel in the early 70s, 80s era with Cloak and Dagger, and they're supposedly getting a show. I don't know if that's true or not because I don't have Netflix or Hulu or whatever show their channel they're getting it on, just like the New Mutants. Now, technically, there were no black New Mutants on the X-Men team. Roberto da Costa is from Brazil, and he technically is supposed to be Spanish with the last name like da Casca. However, when he powers up in the Sunspot, he's as black as fuck. Alright, so if you want to count that, then there you go. But we're not going with him. The last one on my list, because he's the only one of the Avengers that I can remember that is black, and he's 13 years old, at least he was, unless they retconned the shit out of that. Actually, I have two more. Well, one more after him. His name is Rage. Alright, so Rage, I forgot what his real name was, but he's 13 years old. And if you liked Wildcats or Youngbloods, Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee kind of went on that same principle with Maul and the other guy from Youngbloods. I can't remember, but Maul from Wildcats was definitely on the same principle. So kudos to Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld for following whoever the hell made Rage out. Because Rage was beastly. Rage was as big as Hercules, not half as strong as Hercules, but pretty fucking strong. Alright, moving on from them. One of the last ones on the list was Night Thrasher. Now, Night Thrasher 1 versus Night Thrasher 2. So that makes it 2. Night Thrasher 1 is Dwayne Taylor. Night Thrasher 2, I can't remember his damn name, but he was Dwayne Taylor's half-brother from a different mother. Alright, so clearly Dwayne Taylor's daddy was getting it in. So Dwayne Taylor, the original Night Thrasher, is basically Marvel's version of Bruce Wayne, but black. So he has the Wayne Foundation, he has the Taylor Foundation. So enough in comparison, the only difference was that Dwayne Taylor was black. And his weapons and his martial arts skills would equal in comparison to that of Batman's Bruce Wayne. However, we're not touching DC right now. We're only dealing with Marvel and black superheroes, being that this is going to lead into a Black Panther video. So Dwayne Taylor supposedly dies, and his brother takes over. And not only does he take over everything, he also takes over his girlfriend Silhouette. Silhouette, who's half black, her dad is Cord, and her mom was the maid to take care of Dwayne Taylor all of his life, who killed his parents, and so that they could raise Dwayne Taylor to try to make these 7 magical women to bring the fall of the earth or something, I don't remember. But anyways, a long time ago, and by now, I'm sure they retconned the fuck out of it. So, Night Thrasher 2 is his younger brother, his half-brother. It's hard to say who's the oldest, actually, because I didn't get that deep into it, because at one time they canceled the New Warriors, and then they brought it back, and when they brought it back, they killed Dwayne Taylor, so it was canceled again, and I stopped reading it because they had the old New Warriors and the new Warriors, and the original New Warriors were on the old New Warriors except for like 2 members, because I think they were like Speedball and somebody else. Anyway, it has nothing to do with this video, but anyway, the comics were going through some shit, and then there was that big writer's tobacco. So that in itself was a big ass CF. So, moving on. Alright, now we're going to get into this Black Panther thing. First and foremost, it is the first movie that has actually brought black Americans together for black people who aren't black. Alright? In truth, as a guy I quoted on this video, the only African American in the whole movie was Killmonger. Everyone else there was from Africa. Alright? So, the positive is that it shows black people in a nation of their own that hasn't been touched by European or Asian influence, and they have the most high-tech technology. Stan Lee and them were scoring big time with black people with that, like major brownie points. He's also in the movie, by the way. And, you know, the thing with that is that everybody is like, oh, it's T'Challa, T'Challa, T'Challa. But here's the thing. I'm not going to shut the movie down. I'm not here to do that at all, because I enjoyed the movie myself. But what you guys understand is that the movie was not about Americans. The movie was about one American who was the bad guy. It was more like about the nation of Wakanda, which is a fictional place in Africa. It doesn't really exist, but if it did, after the movie came out, the reviews were throwbacks to when I was a kid. Everybody was telling us if we don't like America, go back to Africa. Well, here's the problem with that. Most of my lineage is mostly Native American. So, yeah, that shit ain't happening. Anyway, so for everybody who's been putting down the Black Panther movie, stop. It's probably the only movie in history with black people is actually united black people. You know, where when Blade came out, everybody was thrilled. Wesley Snipes was doing his thing. It was a good movie. It had 2 sequels. They were both great. He knocked out Triple H's teeth. But Blade was Black American. But it also didn't have Marvel and Disney backing it, which is why it wasn't like super fantastic like the way they're doing with the Black Panther. Alright? Now I say that because it's the truth, and they can reboot Blade now if they want. If they have the rights to it, they can reboot Blade and it will be fucking phenomenal. Excuse me. But the thing is, when Black Panther was getting dropped, everybody knew Black Panther was coming from Marvel since the first Avengers movie. You know, they dropped some Easter eggs there, and nobody really caught it. Yeah, but they dropped some Easter eggs there because they talked about the vibranium in the fucking very first movie, which was Captain America: First Avenger. They dropped a lot of vibranium hints and a lot of Easter eggs towards Wakanda. Alright, they did it. And you can find a video here somewhere somebody does actually mention that. But here's the thing. Black Panther in himself is in a nation of himself in Africa. He's not American, but he has united Americans in general to be fluent and proud and live in this fictitious land that everybody wants to go there. Okay, that's cool. Now, here's in the reality. I don't know where Chadwick Boseman is from. I don't care. He's doing his damn thing. Way to go. His acting career is in peak condition right now. My acting career is way down here. Not taking off the ground no time soon. Anyway, moving on. When it comes to the Black Panther, the fact that it united black people is outstanding. Because, and I'm going to say this, and everybody's going to hate me, and that's fine. If black people are so busy trying to stop black people from having success, this movie proves that we can. It also puts a stamp on Hollywood for casting more black actors so that we don't have to keep doing like I'm doing now, making videos, struggling to get our foot in the door because no one wants to give us a chance. Now, me being mixed, it's even more difficult because there are nobody writing about, well, this guy's mom is Chinese and his dad is black and he was stuck in Vietnam with his mom because they had nowhere to go and they had to immigrate from there, blah, blah. No one's writing these stories because they're claiming that people like me don't exist. However, there aren't any superheroes that are really mixed either, which is also a manifestation of bad fucking writing. But, you know, it is what it is. And for me, my dad once told me if there aren't superheroes that look like you, then you need to write them yourself, which is what I've been doing. Anyway, moving on. When it comes to Black Panther, he united the black community in ways we never fucking thought would ever happen in my lifetime. Because as long as I've been growing up, see, this two-tone skin has been a problem. Because black people have color issues. Yeah, and I'm not going to be the only one who says it, but I probably am the only one brave enough to say it in such a public venue. The self-hatred amongst black people by black people is why we've had such a fucking big time falling out. Alright? Now, if you get a look at the skin tones of Chadwick Boseman and the skin tone of Michael B. Jordan, you'll understand that that never became an issue in Wakanda. But most Africans are generally darker than me, for the most part. And I don't know how much truth this is, so I'm going to do the air quote thing. I don't think your skin tone proves how much African you have and how much you don't. But other people do. And if that being the case, I'm in trouble because my real skin tone is high yellow. Anyway, but I got white in me and have Native American in me. So my skin tone is going to be light. Alright? And the thing with a lot of other people of color, you know, a lot of people don't want to say that they're mixed. They just want to be one or the other instead of embracing everything. Well, the Black Panther, being of African, points out to everyone of how great it can be had the European nation never came in to influence the African nation of that spot, and how African nation that they believe to be a third world country, in secret, has been one of the richest countries in the known universe. Now, I'm not sure if Marvel's doing the 616. All right, so in that case, then you should know that if they haven't retconned the shit out of it, at one time Black Panther and Storm were married. All right, like I said, I don't know if they retconned the shit out of it. I don't know what's going on with Marvel and Disney at this moment with Fox and the pissing contest it is. But leaving that to the side, the Black Panther has done more for the black community, and by not even being about black people from America. It's about being from Africa. And a lot of us, dream of going back to Africa for ancestral land and reasons and all this. And I'm the only one who's not down with that train at all. America is my home. I would go visit Africa. I probably wouldn't stay there longer than a day, and then I would go home. As I've told you in other videos that I've had, I've met some great Africans, and I've met some not so great Africans. So I can't judge a nation by the not so great Africans. But when someone's telling you, as soon as you get off the plane, they're going to kill you because you're a half-breed, you kind of don't want to visit someplace where you're number one with a bullet for something that you can't help. Alright? No, not scared, but I'm also not fucking stupid. I know I'm not bulletproof. Now, let's keep it shit real. And then, alright, I know, before I get back on Black Panther, I don't want to go to China now because of the black guys stealing Louis Vuitton shades. And they had money. So why do something stupid? When you come from money, it seems like when you come from money is when you do the stupidest shit. Now, moving black on to Black Panther. Like I did that, moving black on to Black Panther. Alright, look. When it comes to Black Panther, for all of us Americans, and for all the cast of American actors who learn how to talk with the African accent, and the Africans who were African that are actually in the film, they did a damn good job. They did a damn good job. They kept up with the character. They kept up with the legend. They kept up with the whole dichotomy of that is Wakanda in the Marvel comics. They kept up with everything that they were supposed to do. And hands down, the damn movie was great. And most of those guys are going to return and probably perish at the hands of Thanos, but they're going to return. And Marvel has been getting it in. They have straight been getting it in. And Black Panther is just the beginning. Now, what we need to do now is not put the Black Panther movie down, because I've watched like 20 videos this week alone, and like maybe 5 of them yesterday and 2 today. They totally put down Black Panther. And it's like, okay, at its heart, it's a comic book film based on a comic book character from Marvel, and he's one of Marvel's first, if not premier, black characters that came to the forefront. He was also an Avenger. He wasn't really an X-Man, but he was an Avenger. Both teams, East Coast and West Coast, for those who don't have a history lesson of Marvel's comic book split of the East Coast Avengers and the West Coast Avengers, because they had so many damn Avengers, they even had this in a third team in outer space. Well, Black Panther wasn't on that team, but he was on the East Coast team, and he was on the West Coast team. I don't even really what the clusterfuck was that made the Avengers have an East Coast and West Coast. I think Tony wanted to move out west for a little bit, and in his absence, War Machine was Iron Man until everything got set up in the West, and then War Machine followed Tony and Pepper out to the West, where the New York office is mostly ran by Cap. I think Rhodey did the in-between, because Rhodey's still U.S. Army, and he's basically their plant inside of Tony's organization, so that they can make sure that he's not trying to facilitate the World War III epic. So if Rhodey's there, they know Rhodey's going to be loyal to the government and not so much to his best friend Tony, but he's there to be Tony's moral compass. Alright? So Black Panther's been on the East Coast and West Coast Avengers. You can find the books. I don't have them. I really only like Cap. So when Cap has a solo thing, I would read that. When Cap became U.S. Agent, I would read that. And then U.S. Agent actually became Cap for a little bit. His name's John Walker. I know that has nothing to do with Black Panther, but anyway, moving back on. Black Panther has been one of the forefront characters in Marvel outside of the 9 that I named before that people actually know. And the only reason they know the other 9 is they'd have to read those books. Rage was an Avenger, alright? The other guys kind of trickled into Avengers and not, you know, but Black Panther, he was a part-timer. You know, kind of like Batman in the Justice League, he's a part-timer. Black Panther was a part-timer, which is why he was on the East Coast and the West Coast Avengers. Now, as far as Wakanda, he was the full-time guardian there, plus king. So, you know, until he gave the mantle to his sister, I have no more knowledge of that because I didn't read them. I stopped reading comics in 2010 after the clusterfuck. So I was like, okay, well, I'm done with that. Now, as I close out, T'Chaka and T'Chaka. T'Chaka was also a Black Panther in his younger days. They didn't really go into any origin outside of that you see in the film. In the comics, they haven't really dug that deep back into it. If they have, I totally fucking missed it. But that would probably have been between the 2008 2010 where I decided I was done reading because of what they did to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Alright? No offense to you Star-Lord fans. I made your victory all damn day. Anyway, the whole thing is that Black Panther has touched every person of black descent on some level or another to make us say, yes, yes we can. Sorry, not quoting Obama on that one, but yes, yes we can. And what if this had happened? And that's basically what it is. You know, without the people of the European descent coming in or the Asian descent having any influence on Wakanda. You know, and them selling vibranium to certain choice people, you know, with yeah, that's a wedgie, both cheeks. You know, that kind of exploitation thing kind of, if it had happened in our life, in the real world, and there would be no slavery, but most likely, in my luck, I would probably wind up only being Native American instead of being mixed. Okay? Because most of my grandmothers are Native Americans. My mother's mother, my father's mother. So, had they never met my father, they would my father's father, then we more likely would have been full-blooded Native Americans, which, like I said, most of my lineage is most likely here. Especially since I heard that Native American DNA does not show up in DNA tests. I don't know how much of that is true. I do need to take that 23andMe thing, but I'm poor and I'm broke and I don't have 50 fucking bucks, let alone 150 fucking bucks to get that shit done. But for the most part, this video is about Black Panther and what it has done positively for the black community. Now, I've talked to you guys about how many videos I've watched about how they put the Black Panther down, put it down, put it down, put it down. And unfortunately, I'm going to say this. I hate myself so bad right now. But I'm going to say this because it's true. Every video that I've written, or whatever, the videos that I've watched that I've mentioned, most of the put-downs came from black people. Alright? Now, I'm not sure if they were antagonists or protagonists on it, but a lot of the videos I get like about a third of the way through, and I think to myself, damn it. This is exactly why we can't make it. Because a positive black movie comes out, and there are not positive black people giving it positive reviews. And in that, you know, it's like, see, we will never get off of square one. We will never get to second and third base until we stop having those some people vilify Black Panther. Now, I love the movie. I love the concept. But I've also been reading Marvel comics since I was fucking 4. I started off reading DC when I was 3. Time I was 4, I was a crack shot at reading superhero shit and couldn't read a goddamn thing in school out loud. Now, I have a reading disability. We didn't really diagnose that shit until like I got 15. Now, I can read. I'm not the greatest of reader. Comprehension's a little low from concussions. My retaining is like gone. I don't retain much of shit. So improv acting is what I'm best at because I don't have to retain anything. I just have to refresh off my head with the story that has been put before me. Okay, moving on. I've seen enough videos of people putting down Black Panther because it's not about American blacks outside of Killmonger, but the fact that it's about a black nation of people in Africa in a fictional setting that does not really exist but could have existed in the world of comics where black people aren't all trying to kill each other. Black people aren't all trying to put each other down, and they're living in a fucking civilization where there's fucking peace. No one's going around hollering, "What's up, my nigger? How you doing, dog? What the fuck is wrong with you?" There was barely any swearing in the movie that I can remember. You know, and then I see these videos, and they're like, Black Panther's bad for black people. I'm like, what? And then I see other videos where black people talk about white people, talking about we shouldn't go see Black Panther because it's about black people. And I'm like, you should go see Black Panther because it's a fucking superhero movie. I think I seen like one video with a white person saying something bad about Black Panther. One. Now here's the thing. Because I'm multicultural and I'm gonna hit that line. I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna piss y'all off, and I don't give a damn. Thank you, Bo. Anyway, I don't think when it comes to superhero, race should be a factor. Alright? I do think that it is like probably about that much of a factor. Because you're going to a movie to see a superhero. Let it be about a superhero. Rather he's Asian, rather he's black, rather he's white. Let it be what it's meant to be. A movie about a fucking superhero. Okay, Black Panther is black. Technically he's not black. He's from Africa, like Storm. I already named you like the top 9 black superheroes off my top of my head list that I could come up with that are actually black, as in American black. Not as in African, immigrated to America to become African American, black. Straight up black. Born and bred there, ancestors came there in chains, which makes their ancestors African American, but the rest of us, we're fucking black. Alright? If you're a white person and your favorite superhero is black, fuck yeah. Go see that fucking movie. That's like me, alright? I'm a black-ish man. I'm multicultural. One of my favorite superheroes from G.I. Joe was Jinx. She is Japanese. Her name is Kima Rashikage. Her cousin is Storm Shadow. And the greatest ninja in G.I. Joe is a white man named Snake Eyes. That's right, he's a blonde white man who, if you go by the original comics, he could talk, but he took a vow of silence until he discovered that Zartan killed the Hard Master with the bow and arrow, the same way that in the comic book Zartan killed Cobra Commander. Now, moving back to Black Panther, if you're a white person or an Asian person, there are at least one white person in there and 2 Asian people in there that have a big fight in South Korea. So why can't you go see the movie because you're not black? That's about the dumbest crock of shit I've ever heard in my life. When you go to see a superhero movie, most of us who go see the superhero movies is because we're fans of the hero. You know, it's not because it has anything to do with that motherfucker's race. We're fans of the hero. If you haven't read a Black Panther comic and you have no idea that he's black under all that blackness, then go see the movie. You know, because it's about him being a superhero. It's not about what color he is. It's not about him being the king of Wakanda. It's about him being a fucking superhero. Now, for those who are prejudiced and decide I don't want to see this movie because it's all about a black superhero, you know what? That hasn't stopped me from going to see Captain America. All 3 of them. Captain America the First Avenger, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War. Got the t-shirt. Avengers t-shirt right here. Now, I'm more Marvel than DC. And I can make a black video about DC comic characters, but I only know maybe 3 of them. Maybe 4. I'm not going to swear to that because I'm more Marvel than DC. I will say, up until the late 90s, early 2000s, Marvel had the lead in heroes of color, where DC was playing catch up. But most of the DC heroes, I could count maybe 3 that were color, which is basically, unless you count alternate universes, you had John Stewart, the Green Lantern, you had Guardian, but he just came out, and God damn it, who the hell was the other guy? I forgot his name already, but you had them. And now with the new 52s, they've revamped everyone, changed some colors and some ethnic backgrounds of people, and tightened stuff up. And that's cool. You know, I'm glad that they did that. But at the same time, I'm old school. You know, I'm getting used to Kid Flash being black now because I watched the Flash show. I'm getting used to it. I didn't accept it at first because I was like, how could you guys do that? But then I accepted it. Now, Guardian and Queen Bee. I think Queen Bee. It might not be Queen Bee. It's somebody with a bee outfit on. They're black. No. So I guess they've always been black. I don't know. But Black Panther's always been black. And so I'm going to close this out back on Black Panther with, I think the problem with us in general as people is that we are afraid of what we can become if we actually try. And that's the problem. No one wants to try. They just want to keep staring at the same damn thing. And then you have the antagonists or the protagonists or the anti-Black Panther people, and most of them that I've seen so far have been black people. Stop it! Go see the movie. Let the black superhero reign begin. And maybe, just maybe it'll open up the door for Marvel to unlock more black characters or more characters of color. Let's go to Deathlock. According to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he's black. Now, I don't remember what Deathlock's actual origin was because I only read him in crossover books. I didn't really get into Deathlock because he was a dead cyborg, and all of a sudden now he's a dead cyborg from the future, and then they did something else, and he was back to being a dead cyborg. It was really some fucked up shit. I always thought he was white, so I left it at that. Where if you went to G.W. Bridge, who was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and part of Cable's Wolf Pack or Savage Pack or whatever the fuck it was back in the 90s, and then Nick Fury became black, but he was white, and then you had maybe 2 black X-Men if you counted Storm as black because she's Egyptian, so she doesn't really count as black, but Bishop was definitely black. And then you get into Native Americans. You had 4 Native Americans that were in the X-Men universe in general that were good guys. Because you have Mirage, Danielle Moonstar. You have Thunderbird, which is James Proudstar. You have John Proudstar, who was Thunderbird. James Proudstar is Warpath, who became Thunderbird later to honor his brother. And you have Forge. So if I'm missing anybody, it's because I didn't know they were Native American. And I still don't know what the hell Lila Chinley is because I'm pretty sure she was half Chinese. But I'm not going to swear to that because her and Sam Guthrie had a band. Alright? And he's white. And then there's fucking Roberto da Costa. Da Casca, whatever. He's Brazilian, so it's kind of hard to say exactly what the hell he was. But anyway, moving on to the final closing of Black Panther. You have to understand that the black superhero conglomerate does not exist. I named 9 off the hand that didn't include Black Panther because I don't include Black Panther or Storm as black people. They are from Africa. Storm is from Egypt, which is where? In the fucking heart of Africa. Just keep going up the Nile. And then Black Panther, T'Challa, is in Wakanda. So, the only... In fact, before I close out, fun fact, I'm going to close out with this. In fact, he is actually the only superhero in Marvel who comes from a place that's not fucking real. Every other superhero in Marvel comes from a place in a real location on Earth somewhere. Peter Rasputin, he's from Russia. I forgot what part of the Soviet... Oh, no, I don't. I remember. He's from Siberia. So he's in the coldest part of Russia. He turns into organic steel. And his big brother had organic steel arms, and his sister and the soul sword could make her whole body organic steel, etc., etc. That would be magic. Now, you talk about Forge. He's a Cheyenne Indian from a Cheyenne tribe in Texas. You talk about Danielle Moonstar. She's a Cheyenne Indian. I forgot where her tribe's at. I think it's out west further than Texas, but she's a Cheyenne. You talk about James and John Proudstar. They're Apache, and they're also from out west. Their tribe was destroyed. They were the last 2 of their tribe, So they weren't the last of the Apache race, but they were the last of that Apache tribe. Their land got taken and it got destroyed by some rich asshat. But anyway, moving on. So we have Wakanda, a fictional nation that does not exist. But anywhere else in the Marvel Universe, they are in real cities. They are in Manhattan, New York. They're in Springfield, New York, or Westchester, New York. They're in places that I've passed through. Now I haven't been to Texas, because that's where Forge is from. And I haven't been to Arizona, because I think that's where Proudstar's are from, because they're Apache. Originally, Apaches were West Side Indians that were forced to come to Florida after that whole Geronimo thing. Now, outside of that, they don't really have any Cherokees unless American Eagle's a Cherokee, but I don't know where he's from. So, like I said, if this works out for all the black people to bring more black superheroes to the front, just think about what it'll do for people like me. And it actually give me an acting job as a person who's mixed, or a person who could be a Cherokee or some Native American nation. Or they also have two Tallman. Uh, his his Alpha Flight name is Talisman. Him and his daughter keep switching back and forth, Talisman and Shaman. And they are from the First Nation, and they're in a First Nation tribe in Canada. So therefore, Black Panther's in a class by himself. I'm ending it with that because he's the only Marvel superhero who's in a made-believe spot next to Kazar in the Savage Land. Now, as you want to know about Kazar in the Savage Land is at the tip or in the middle of the South Pole. In the South Pole, there is a place where the tropical island exists of the Savage Land. And you get past all the ice and snow, you're in a aquarium type area where there's no ice and there's no snow. There's just a fucking jungle, and that's where Kazar, excuse me, and his saber-toothed cat lives. I can't remember the cat, but they're both mutants. Where he's a mutant, and I guess his mutant powers out there. And Shauna, his wife. So the Savage Lands is a mythical place. That and Wakanda. Those are the only two places in the Marvel Universe that I know besides Asteroid M. There are mythical places where superheroes come from. Where magical places that do not exist where superheroes come from. Now everyone else comes from a real city and a real place, not like Gotham or Metropolis. They literally come from places like New York or Canada or freaking Australia and stuff like that. Because the Reavers, they come from Australia because the X-Men took over their base. Lady Deathstrike, whose daddy was Canadian and her mother was Japanese, Lady Deathstrike, she came from Japan and Canada. So, goes to show you that, Marvel's up to speed on places where people come from. Except for Black Panther comes from Wakanda. Wakanda does not really exist. But if it did, he's the king. Right. So I'm going to close out on that, because I have to go to get my niece off the bus. It's closing time. This is Kung Fu Factor number 2, BC and U. If I can find the cursor.